Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 11th demo day by OSS Ventures. And I let our CEO, Renaud, present himself.
Hello, everyone. Thank you a lot for taking time. We chose to change the format of demo day that we are doing from one thing that was very much more open to the general ecosystem and having a lot of bystanders to a more intimate format and a more back and forth format with professionals from the vertical and from the sector. So thank you all for attending. This will be short and sweet with 1 hour tops and back and forth. So I'm not here to do a long presentation or anything. So let's go straight to the point, Ash. Basically, so we are OSS Ventures. What is OSS Ventures? OSS Ventures cares about the production model of the world. So the way that we create goods and resources and the operations behind it. Basically, we are the first and maybe the greatest generation to face a challenge that is extremely important. We face a potential total destruction of our lifestyles because of our current production model and the way we produce goods and services. We at OSS Ventures think that the environmental issues, the societal issues of good work and factories getting out of territories, it's a pressing issue and it has to be solved with tech. So in the words of one of our dear friends, Ash, if you want to go to the next, basically, it may have come to your attention that the richest man in the world created two very much atom-based like manufacturing companies. And it says that at scale, any production problem is a software problem, and that's more important than the machine, the end product, is the machine that builds the machine. So basically, we are an investment fund and a startup studio that focus exactly on this. So how do we do that? Of course, we do that with an awesome team. So Ash, if you want to present team. So the team that we have is 20 incredible builders that are launching awesome ventures and helping the portfolio. So the portfolio in itself is a collection of great software companies, all aiming at improving the world of production and the world of the physical flow of atoms. And to top it up, if you want to go and fast go to the start of the good stuff, all of our portfolio companies have more than 800 different clients right now, kind of all over the world. And we are very, very proud to be part of that deep, fundamental, and very much needed change of production system that I was mentioning at the very beginning. So without further ado, OSS started as a venture builder. So we basically created 12 companies with some great success that we are very, very proud of. And we will continue launching awesome ventures and new ventures in the space. We also augmented the model with a follow-up fund, the follow-up fund being an investment vehicle that both invest alongside investment professional in existing ventures, but also that takes minority shares in B2B software companies that that have the same area of focus as us. One particularity of that fund is that we don't focus on taking the lead on any financial round. So we are very happy to have financial professionals in this virtual roundtable because we define ourselves as the operational partner that has sectorial knowledge and a deep rooted network of industrials that we can work the solutions and the product with the founders. So going to the last slide, Ash, basically we are very, very grateful for that awesome panel to have accepted to exchange with us. And so welcome, Sarah, Berenice, and Sam, and thank you a lot for being there. And the mic is yours, Ash.
Thank you so much, Renaud. So as Renaud mentioned, we have a new format this time around. We have a 6-minute pitch by each startup and a 4-minute question and answer feedback session by the panelists. So without further ado, we'll start with Juno by Thibaut.
Thank you, Ash.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I will share my screen. Do you see my screen and do you hear me?
Yep, perfectly.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. I'm Thibaut. I'm the CEO of Juno, and I'm really excited to present you what we do at Juno and what we think it's crucial for the future of manufacturing. So let's go for the 6-minute speech. Just to give you a little bit of context here, when you look at a factory on the operational side, operational angle, you quickly understand that procedures at what makes it run. And how do I make the product? How do I control that I made it right? And how do I communicate with everyone involved in the process? Since this morning, nearly 300 million procedures were performed in French factories and nearly 3 billion in European ones. But manufacturers are facing a product complexification problem. We see that there is a 10% growth on demand customization each year and a 7% growth on complexification as a whole each year. And because of higher standards, higher state-of-the-art, better technology, customization, etc., etc. So production complexification is on the rise. There will be more procedures to perform in factories. But factories are operate with paper-based system for 80% of them. And this is a big issue because what are the consequences of a heavy paper-based system for a factory? 30% of the procedures are not executed by operators on the shop floor. 30% of procedures are not executed. That leads to a bright 50% quality issues that are directly linked to the state of the system. So an increase in lead time, decrease in productivity, etc., etc. We actually experienced these numbers. We not read them in a McKinsey study. We spent 4 months visiting 40 factories and more than 100 managers interviewed. So these numbers are real. What is the solution? Our opinion is that operations in a factory should be collaborative, data-driven, and intelligent. This is the only way that this procedure system, this operational system, can work for performance. How do we do that? I'm very excited to present you Juno, the one-stop shop for your operations. Juno is basically a software as a service that brings all operational players from top management to supervisors to operators on one single interface. We improve communication between teams. We collect 100% contextualized data for managers, and we get them real-time analysis to monitor and adjust their operations. Juno is not simply about digitizing procedures. It's also and mainly about giving managers a no-code tool to continuously improve the system over time. And this is a very important point. So our value, we are actually working with several industries, but we see that we have big impacts on real pains. If you take, for example, the luxury industry, they have a clear need to increase their production capacity right now because the increase of demand is very high. So with Juno, we give them 100% visibility and data collection from the shop floor. So they are notified in real time when they have an issue. They can react quickly, so they can reduce their non-compliant product rate. They can increase, improve their lead time, and increase the productivity. This is one of the examples, but we are also working with the pharmaceutical industry, the automotive industry, aero industry, etc. Actually, this is one interesting testimonial from Pascal from Poquelin Hydraulics, which is an historical French manufacturer. I invite you to watch the video when you have more time, but it's very interesting to understand how we are transforming their operational system. So one word about the market and the competition. Actually, our target market is quite huge. We are targeting companies that have more than 200 FTEs. This is a 1.5 billion market in France, 14 billion market in Europe. And regarding the competitive landscape, obviously our main competitor is Excel, and sometimes the old software, the manufacturing software that are already in place. But we are on the top right of the chart, and not because of the digitization of procedures, as I already said, but because we are the only tool that work for continuous improvement. We give managers a tool that they will use every day to collect data from the shop floor, and then will be able to continuously improve the system, change procedure frequencies, change procedures content, change procedure styling, improve the system continuously to reach performance, to improve lead time, to reduce non-conformities, etc., etc. So where are we now? Our MVP is live since the beginning of May. We have already 5 POCs signed, 2 already started in May at Poquelin and Boloff, and 3 will start in September in Chanel, Berry Pharmaceutical, and Lizzie Aerospace. And we obviously also have some hot discussion in the pipe that we will transform in the next days and next weeks. So the next steps, we will be ready to raise funds in early 2023. By the end of 22, we will have 3 full contracts signed, 5 more POCs running. So we will raise funds in the beginning of 23 to invest in our recruitment and our marketing. And the objective are to reach 70 full contracts signed by the end of 24, and have a 3.4 billion ARR activity. And last but not least, our incredible team. Just one word about our Reda, our CTO and my co-founder, who has 10 years experience in software development and cloud infrastructure design. He is also a senior product manager, and it's quite rare, so I insist on it. So I'm very proud to working with him. And our recently onboarded senior sales executive, Yves, who also has 10 years experience in major account sales, and he will help us build the sales team and reach our objectives. So this is it for us and for me. Thank you for your time, and I'm available if you have some questions.
Thank you so much, Thibault. I think let's have the feedback of our panelists. Let's start with Sarah Benhamou.
Yes, thank you very much, Thibault.
Thank you, Sarah.
I can start with the first question. I'm trying to better understand your use cases. What are the processes that you are digitalizing, and what is the scope of your no-code platform today?
Okay, we are actually digitizing all procedures that are in the plant, production procedures like instructions, standards, quality controls procedures like checklist, auto controls, quality controls, maintenance procedures also. So every procedure, every document that is on the hands of operators and that they will execute to do their work, to produce and to check what they do.
Got it. And maybe very quickly, a second question regarding the time to implement your solutions. So the top management has this tool and they're like putting it in place, all the different processes that they have, that they need to have, or do you have like some template, or do you have like something to start with?
Obviously, we are software developers and software designers. We are not manufacturers, so this is our main value proposition is to build high standard apps. So this is very easy in Juno to build a procedure. We have some template features. We save time to everyone, designer and operators that execute the procedure. Actually, we train managers and operators in less than 30 minutes to use Juno every day.
Got it. So I don't want to take too much time, and I will let the other investor to talk, but maybe one of my feedback would be to emphasize your value proposition and how you differentiate from the other player in the market. I would be happy to schedule a catch-up, a follow-up call with you to deep dive on those two topics.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. We'll have Berenice Magistri following up.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Thibaut, for the great presentation. I'm not a B2B SaaS expert, so I'm not going to dive into that, but I come from a journalism background, so very happy to give, more feedback on the content and style of the presentation and just the whole storytelling. I thought the presentation was, very good. Your tone of voice was, light but clear and engaging. So I thought that was really great. I think that in terms of the pitch deck, the beginning, I mean, even though you clearly set out, what the problem is, there was maybe a bit too many stats here and there. I think it can be a bit confusing, especially if you're not sort of deep in that industry. So what might help just, lighten it a little bit would be to have, whether it's like a pie chart or a graph or a bit more visuals versus numbers and percentages, I think, and maybe also just concretely frame it in a typical situation. So you could be like, for example, Chanel, has this problem with their manufacturing. They waste XYZ, and this creates inefficiency on these levels. So, with our solution, that's how they could improve, the production time and efficiency. So I think laying out a bit more of a roadmap in terms of what your solution actually does versus, adding too many sort of stats and percentages could be great. I think visually and just engage the person, the people you're pitching to a bit more. And then I think it would be interesting to maybe know a bit more about, in terms of how you approach the, marketing and sales in order to, find customers, what are your different channels of distribution. So I think it could be great to also maybe have a slide on that. But otherwise, it was, I thought it was a great pitch. So well done.
Thank you for your feedback.
Thanks a lot, Berenice. Okay, let's finish up with Sam, this feedback.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much for the pitch. Excuse me. Yeah, I only had a few questions. Yeah, in terms of what's built in the technology and what hasn't been built, as well as what's been spent to date.
Sorry, I didn't hear the whole question.
Apologies. Is this better?
Sorry, no, we didn't hear you completely.
I'm sorry. Could you hear me okay
Yeah,
right now?
yeah.
Gotcha.
Right now is good.
Yeah, I was just curious about what has been built so far in the technology and what needs to still be built out.
Okay, right now we have built the basic features, like building procedures, execute them on the shop floor, on the right place, on the right time, and have access to basic analysis and analytics. So right now we are here and we are building new features every day with the manufacturers that are using Juno and the use case that we face. So we actually the next big milestone will be to draft some excellent dashboard for C-levels, and the next one is to implement some artificial intelligence to be able to identify patterns in terms of production and give insights to managers to be able to modify and adjust the system before they encounter some production issues.
Perfect. And how much has been spent to date on the technology?
The main finance spending is on human resources. So we have a team of 4 that are every day working on the technological side of Juno since the beginning of January.
Great. Thank you so much. I thought the presentation was good, just because with 6 minutes, I feel like you covered a lot of things that normally people would cover in about a 15-minute time span. So I thought it was very concise as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks a lot, Sam. I'll let Armin take the stage now for vertical.
Amazing. So let's start. I'll try to be a bit quicker so that we don't overrun. In any case, happy to be here and to present you Vertical. Basically, in a nutshell, our mission is to help industrial companies maximize their capex efficiency. But maybe let's take a step back first and discuss what capex is. For an industrial company, capex can be everything that is related to purchasing a machine, a software, a building, or even vehicles and trucks. And it's huge for them. It represented in 2021 around 3.7 trillion expenses, and it's going to grow. It's going to grow fast. Mainly due to labor shortages that will drive the automation of the industry, of the manufacturing industry. Fast changes in consumer behaviors, wanting to consume more local and more sustainable products, driving new factory creation and rethinking of production ways. And it's also driven by the inflation with a lot of industrials telling us that they want to invest now, that machines are less expensive than they will be in the next 3 to 5 years. So now what's the challenge with capex management? Let's imagine that you're the COO of a large company, and that you have around, let's say, 30 to 50 factories that you're responsible for across the globe, and that you want to, let's say, start a security project. You want to increase the security of your sites. The way you would proceed is you would do a first assessment of how much it would cost you, with a limited set of variables and with a limited team. And then you would go to your CFO, ask for a budget, get the validation of this budget, and then you would hand the project over to local project managers that would have to basically work on themselves to make your vision happen. The issue with that is that the issue with that is each of the stakeholders is experimenting some pains with this process. If you look at the CFO, when they validate the investments, they have a very limited vision on what is the actual performance of the investment that you're asking them, and they have a limited set of data that they can rely on, so that they can challenge the investment and make sure it's the one that brings the most value to the company. And then once they have validated the budget and the engagement, they have, again, a very limited transparency and visibility on how their capital is deployed and what are the cash implications for the company. So basically, as one of the CFOs that we interviewed told us, sometimes they have the feeling that they're writing a check at the beginning of the year and just hoping, and then opening the box at the end of the year, hoping that the project went well and didn't cost too much more than what they expected. Then as a COO, the issue is when you decide what is the best way to invest, you have a limited set of scenarios that you can create, and you won't achieve the optimal, but because of the lack of data and the lack of transparency on your organization, you have to choose between a limited set of scenarios, and you have to basically cope with what you have at hand. And then the same way as the CFO, you have a limited view on what is the performance of your investment, and if your strategy is actually deploying the way you wish and the way you want. And then as a project manager, you know that several persons are working on a similar project around the world, but you have a limited interaction with them, and you have limited way to collaborate with those people. You have limited ways to collaborate within your local organization with all the stakeholders that you need to collaborate with. And then you have also no way to improve and to learn from past experience and to improve on your project management skills. And that's why we created Vertical. Basically, what we are doing for our clients is we're helping them manage all their capex at one place and at any time. So we are creating this transparency, and we are helping them in seeing what is happening and what will happen in the near future. We also help them optimize their investments as a project manager, learn from past experience and increase their performance each time they invest. And as an executive also be able to challenge the investment and to understand why it's going to be better than last time. And then the last point is the modelization and the prioritization aspect, where we help our clients forecast the performance of their investment, and then reallocate their budget if anything is happening, like the COVID crisis or the Ukraine war, where some companies had to quickly reallocate some of their investment to make sure they would benefit from the cash that they had in hand to grow their company. Today, we're working with around 10 companies at various stages. We have some of them who co-built the software with us, and some of them that are early adopters and that are willing to implement the solution within their factories because they see the need of the software. They're managing around, or at least they're spending around 1 billion per year, 1 billion capex per year, and they are headquartered in 2 countries, so France and Germany. In terms of vision and what we want to do in the next years with Vertical, by the end of the day, by the end of the year, we want to have proven the model and the usage, and we want to have given our clients, executive and project managers, the visibility on how their capital is being deployed and what their actual performance is. By the end of next year, we will have enough data to be able to help them even improve their processes and put in place the best-in-class processes to make sure they are optimizing the efficiency of their capex deployment. By the end of 2025, we want to help them with additional functionalities and features, or even products, so that they can really manage their capex end to end. Meaning, we are thinking about helping them financing their capex, making sure they don't provide over quality when thinking and strategizing about their capex investments, and also maybe create this marketplace for them to purchase second-hand machines. And then by the end of 2027, we will want to have deployed those new products to the whole market and not only to our customers. To do that, we're relying on a team of on an experienced and complementary team, starting with Guillaume, who is the CTO of Vertical, who is a second-time founder and has already created a tech company. I myself, as an engineer and former McKinsey consultant, having worked on many capex projects and helping many large companies driving their investments, and supported also by the OSS Venture team and their product lead and CEO Renan, and then some of our co-builders that are engaged in this adventure with us. I don't know if you have any questions.
We can start with Sarah, her feedback.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So I think the challenge is very clear, and also you described very well your value proposition. One comment on the vertical next step, I think you could add like your financial milestone that you would love to reach over the time. And also, I think it was a very condensed and short deck, and you have like a more extending deck. So I won't tell you the missing information that I would love to deep dive. But maybe one question for you is, who is taking the buying decision? Is it who is buying vertical? Is it the CFO, the COO?
Today, it's mostly the CFO, which is a good news for us because it's a bit harder to access the CFO for global company. But the good news is once we're at the right level, we're always discussing about group level deployment. So we don't have to fight over each factories or over each location. And we're really discussing about group deployment at once.
Okay, and after, who is using your solution? Who are the users?
So we have, users are project managers, the financial organization up to the CFO, and then the COO.
Okay, got it. And which tool are they using today? I'm trying to understand how you will integrate into the ecosystem.
Today we're fighting with Excel, mostly Excel. Some of them have validation workflow tool, specifically dedicated to validating the purchase orders, and some of them are using the ERPs to handle part of what we do at Vertical. So it's basically Excel, PowerPoint, a bit of ERP, and some validation workflows. But we're basically replacing Excel, PowerPoint's validation workflows. And then the discussion that we have with some of our clients is, do we interface ourselves with the ERP or not? That being said, the tool is developed so that it's standalone, so we don't have to be integrated to the ERP.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Denise, do you want to go next?
Sure. Thank you so much, Armin, for the presentation. It was again great, like good flow, good tone, super clear, like just what the problem is with CAPEX, and then the solution that you're providing. I think one slide where I do have maybe a few suggestions or comments with, I think the third slide, where you very clearly illustrate actually like the chain of command in terms of approving spending orders of like it goes through the CFO, the COO, and then it's like these 3 stages. So I thought that was super clear and really interesting to show kind of the different problems that they might face. I think maybe you spent a little bit too much time on that slide. I think the rest was really good, and it was moving very swiftly, but I think it's pretty straightforward, the slide, so I wouldn't spend too much time like diving into that. But otherwise, like very clear how you presented the sort of flow of the chain of command. And I would just be a bit mindful throughout the deck in terms of like diversity, because all the emojis of people that you included are like white and blonde, and so I would just maybe like put different types of it's great that you put in a woman, but I think it's good to also be mindful of like ethnicity and background. So maybe spice up the diversity a bit in the emojis. But yeah, those are my comments and suggestions.
Great, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Denise. Sam, do you want to go next, please?
Thanks. Yeah, I thought the presentation flowed very well. I did have a few points where I was a little unsure and confused about things, such as the pain points I understood very well, but not at points, not really what the solution was. But I think you answered Sarah's question very well on if you managed all their CapEx, if this is procurement only, and it seemed like it does replace Excel with a scenario analysis. But I guess I wanted to know what the improvement was. Would it be incremental, and how much it would really help with these enterprises that have these high CapEx costs?
Yeah. So maybe let me give you an example. One of our co-builder is a company that is working is a medical technology company. They have like 500 sites across the globe. I think a bit more than 500 sites. And one of their pain is basically they know they're not spending their whole capex on a yearly basis. They're basically around between 2 and 4% of their capex they don't spend every year because they don't have the visibility on. I mean, they're always reforecasting their budget based on their revenues, and so they know at the end of the day they're leaving 2 to 4% of their capex budget on the table, but they have a 20% target on their investments. So they know that money they leave on the table. And that's what we solve because we give them transparency on how much they can spend at any time, and we help them basically spend that money and get that performance. And that's just one of the aspect of it.
Got it. Thanks. And I'm not sure if I missed this, but was there a? I noticed that the numbers, the problem was presented on how much is spent on capex every year. But with this number being presented, is there a tiered subscription revenue model based on how much capex they spend? I know you alluded a bit to financing their capex, so maybe there's a little bit of a link there.
Yeah. So we are discussing those numbers because at the end of the day, what we're working on is making sure what they spend is spent efficiently, and we're helping them drive more value from what they spend. That being said, today we have a model, a pricing model that is more linked to the site and the size of the organization. But we with the additional product that we want to build, we are indeed planning on moving towards an alternative pricing model.
All right, thank you so much. I hope the probing questions helped a little bit, but overall, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great. I'll just give the mic back to Ash. Sorry.
Right. Thanks a lot, Sam. We'll start next with Galem for Automy. Do you want to present your screen?
Yes, let me try to share my screen and I'll be over to you. Okay, not this one. This one. So everyone is seeing my screen right now?
Yep, perfectly.
Yep, we do.
So 1 second, I am configuring it. Should be good. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Galem, CEO of Automy AI. First off, I would like to thank you for spending time this afternoon to listen to our presentation and give useful feedback. I'm presenting today with Bastien, the CTO of Automy. I don't know if you're visible on camera, but he's around. So Automy is a platform dedicated to frontline workers. We're giving them the tools to enable them to automate tasks in their jobs using computer vision. First off, let me try to illustrate exactly what problem we're trying to solve. The example of Bridor, one of our customers, which is also the leading industrial bakery in Europe. So Bridor was facing a surge in demand following the end of the lockdown. So much so that they were expanding factory capacity, so building new factories. They only had a little problem. They could not find enough people to work in these factories, which was really a big pain point to solve for them. And they're not the only one. 2 million jobs are in field in manufacturing today. A lot of companies are struggling to fill them. And what did Breeder do? They chose to innovate their way around this problem. And well, we helped. What they did is they transformed their factory completely. And they did something very weird. They put cameras on every production line. And then using our magic, which I'll show you later, they equipped their production worker with our platform so that they could create computer vision algorithms to automate part of their jobs. And as the result, they can free themselves from low value added jobs and focus on much more productive work. As a result, everyone got more work done without needing to hire more people, which they could not find anyway. And it was a smashing hit for them, a brilliant success. Overall, they managed to improve on-time delivery, to improve the quality of the bakeries, which was already good, but most importantly, to cut down waste by 5%. Because they could see anything and know everything that happened in the factory and act in a very timely fashion. They estimated the gain to 500K over a year, which is a 10x ROI for them. So why did we have such a profound impact with Breeder? We had a profound impact because while everything in manufacturing, every type of manufacturing task start with vision. So vision is very crucial to every task in manufacturing. The typical workflow is to check visually if something is confirmed, then take action based on what you've seen, and report to your colleagues so that they can take further action. And 90% of all the tasks, of all the work that is done in manufacturing depends on visual input. This is why when we can automate these capabilities, the impact is very, very important. And we're talking about a very big industry, which is producing 20% of the global GDP, an industry in which up to 70% of the work is still manual, performed by humans, with vision as the key to automating more of these jobs and solving the labor shortage problem that most manufacturers in the West are facing. My computer is a bit slow. The problem today is that machine vision is not cost effective. So the technology was invented exactly for this, to automate visual tasks in manufacturing labor. It exists since the 18th, but it's very expensive to put in place because it was so complex that you needed to hire an expert in order to implement a solution. And it's not flexible. Every time you want to change anything to your solution, you still have to call that expert, which will charge more. And it doesn't talk with other systems that you have in your factory. If you have an app, an ERP, an email system, the expensive machine vision system that you've implemented won't talk to that, which is a bummer considering the level of investment that is involved. And all in all, it diminishes the ROI because it's so expensive. That's the reason why machine vision is not used routinely in manufacturing today. And we've seen this problem, and we've imagined an alternative world in which machine vision was much more simple, actionable by anyone in the factory, irrespective of their training skills, of their educational level. Flexible, easy to adapt to changes because there are a lot of changes in manufacturing. Things change all the time. And open so that they can communicate with any app, any communication system that already exists in your factory. We've envisioned that. And since we love manufacturing, because we spend a lot of time working in factories in our previous life, we decided to solve this problem. This is why we built Automy. The why of Automy is to provide tools for visual automation to frontline workers. no-code tools that are frictionless to program. You will need to have a PhD for it. You will need to hire an external expensive expert in order to build your solution. And that leverage AI in the background to interpret images and automate jobs. So we've really done the magic of simplifying this complex technology to make them consumable by people with basic level of skills. And it's very simple to put in place. This is how it works. First off, you do like Bridor, you set up your factory with industrial cameras. The first magic trick that we do is that our platform can talk to over 1,000 models of industrial camera that exist in the market. So anything that you install will be able to grab images from it through our platform. And then your workforce will use the images that are collected to train AI algorithms without coding, without having a PhD, which is the second magic trick that we're doing. The third magic trick that we're doing is that this algorithm produces information, and based on this information, you can automate tasks like triggering a machine when something happens, sending a notification to a relevant operator when something happens, or guide a robot, for instance. So this is the magic tricks that our platform does. And with that power, these are the problems, the use cases that our customers use it for. So you see an image that has been interpreted by an AI algorithm trained by a person with basic educational skill level. This algorithm can check the quality of the products. They can track your performance, meaning how much you're producing, if you're producing fast enough to meet your daily goals. They can detect anomalies on your production. They can trace your production for compliance purposes, anticipate on machine downtime or machine errors, failures, and track your inventory. So many things at a very large scale that can be implemented by anyone. And it's a booming market. So today it's a $13 billion market, evenly distributed between Europe, America, and the rest of the world. But the big news, the interesting news, is that it's a market set to double within the next 5 years, because the reshoring trend in Europe and in the US is actually accelerating this trend. This is one of the reasons why we have so much traction. Yes, so in only 10 months of existence, we've completed over 10 POCs in many industrial verticals. So you will see the logos of famous brands here. They've been very happy with the work we did with them. We earn over 200K in revenue, and currently in our pipeline, we have opportunities for over 1 million in ARR by the end of the year. And we think we can double this ARR every year up to reach about 5 million in ARR by 2024. And for this purpose, we are raising funds. We are raising a 3 million seed round with the confirmed participation of Google, BPI France, and OSS Ventures, and we're seeking for more investors. And we're going to use these funds to boost our R&D. We'll double the team of brilliant engineers that we have and build a top-notch sales team to go and put our products in many more factories in Europe and in the US and elsewhere. This is the beautiful team behind this startup. Sorry, my computer is a bit slow to transition again. Doesn't want to show the team, I don't know why. But yes, we have a great team oops, sorry. Yes, a great team that combines experience and talent. And our pride is that this team is uniquely diverse. So not only talented, but uniquely diverse too. So we're surrounded by top advisors from the industry and from technology. Last slide to conclude this. I might have been a bit too long. But today we're building a very interesting product with a lot of traction, but that's not only that. we're collecting a huge volume of data every day, about 1 terabyte of data per hour, with only about 10 customers, and which means we'll be collecting much more data. And we're already thinking about what we'll be doing with that data. And we'll be building one of the most powerful AI models for manufacturing that exists in the world, because we seeing so many things, because we're collecting so much data. So this is where, yes, this is what the last slide I wanted to show. This is with what I wanted to conclude. It's a huge product, but it's much more than that, because we're collecting an amount of data that is unseen by many people ever in manufacturing. Thanks for your attention. I will take feedback and questions now.
So much, Guillaume. Can we start with Sarah?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. Good presentation. For disclosure, we invested in one of your competitor, Drishti, a US company. So I must say that I'm convinced about the business opportunity. Very quick feedback. I think it's good to start with a concrete example to show that visual is very relevant for manufacturing. But I think it was a bit too long, the introduction, before going into the problem. So it was a bit hard to understand where you are going. After you described very well your product, and also it was very good to see your use cases. I would love to have seen in your presentation, and also to understand how do you integrate with the workflow of your clients, which concrete insight are you providing to who, and how is it actionable? How really it's one of the big challenges. And I think what is missing in your pitch is to explain why you are different from others, and what is your secret sauce. And I'm sure you have one, so it's always good to have this slide. So most of the time is with the competition slide, but even in your pitch, like a short pitch, is really important to emphasize what's unique with your solution. But yes, overall, I think it's was very clear, and I think you might work on the flow maybe of your slide. I think you could have like described the same thing in a shorter presentation and be more impactful. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Berenice, do you want to go with your feedback?
Sure. Thank you so much for your presentation. Super interesting. And I have to echo a lot of what Sarah said. I think that the initial slide of illustrating a very concrete example with a client is super helpful to really understand, okay, what problem are they facing and where are you coming in with the solution. Might have been a little bit long, so you can definitely shorten that a bit, but very strong to start that way. I think it really helps to understand the problem. So that was great. Also echoing Sarah on the flow of the presentation, where it was a little bit long and a bit confusing at times, and I appreciate that you might have some technical difficulties switching slides, but I would just make sure that that runs a bit smoother next time if you pitch to investors. And I do think you can also maybe condense the time a little bit, or just spend a little bit less time on the different slides. And then last thing is, and maybe this is me not what I didn't understand, but I would just be very clear, because I was unsure about whether you also provide the hardware, or is that the companies that basically purchase cameras on their end and then you intervene with the software side. So maybe just making that extra clear either way. But great presentation, so thank you.
Thank you, Berenice.
Thanks a lot, Berenice. Sam? Do you want to finish up the feedback?
Great. Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. I'll have to echo what Berenice and Sarah said as well. I thought the testimonial was very helpful, just to show the value proposition of how much they're saving percentage and costs. But it was interesting to have that before the slide on I think it was the 4 arrows to show like what the actual problem was. But I thought all the slides showed a very good picture. for maybe a longer presentation. But I was curious on the revenue model. I think it froze during that slide on whether it was, Berenice mentioned it as well, whether it was hardware and software, professional services as well, just because for the market slide, it mentioned that it was for digital products only. So I was really unsure as well if I think there were also certain slides that showed that it would automate. So it seemed like it was a software play, but also I think at the very beginning, you mentioned that hiring was tough. So I really liked that just because most people want to see why this company is relevant and very important for current market conditions and for the future. So I was unsure if it saved on labor and also if the tiered revenue model as well. But overall, I thought everything that needed to be in it was in there. And it was clear to me at the very end what you were trying to solve.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Sam. Thank you so much for the feedback.
Thank you.
And we'll finish off with full speed automation with Hugues is going to present. Can you share your
Hi
screen?
everybody. Let me share my screen quickly. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. Hi everybody. I'm Hugh. I'm one of the co-founder at Full Speed Automation, and I'm honored and happy to introduce you to Vitesse. Vitesse will help us bring factories to the next level. Vitesse is the digital platform. It's actually the world's first no-code digital platform for manufacturing. We built Vitesse with after working with some famous companies, understanding the pain points, and I will bring more details in the following slides. Vitesse has been already adopted by a number of customers. Tesla is one, GIS is another one. GIS is an interesting example. It's a French company. It's a jewel in the industry 4.0. They are looking to multiply their throughput by 2, but it would take them 5 years to recruit people to reach that level. So they need to automate. A number of leads, all the manufacturers that count in various industries such as automotive, medical, food and beverage, reach out to us. We have end users that are interested. We have also integrators. Now I'm switching to manufacturing. Our ambition at Full Speed is to bring back manufacturing to our shores. We manufacture everything on the other side of the planet. It's insane. We see it with the current war in Ukraine when it comes to food, energy, components, electronics. We absolutely need to act and to bring back manufacturing to our regions, and also to protect the planet. I don't know if you know that, but if you take the 15 largest container ships that are bringing goods from Asia to Europe and to the US, those 15 boats only pollute as much as all the cars on this planet. It's insane. So as our friends at OSS were saying in the introduction, to manufacture with the volume in our region brings some challenges. And Elon Musk likes to say that manufacturing is actually a software problem. The interesting thing, if you have friends working in factories, ask them what their factories run on. And you would be surprised by their answer. They might say, oh, we are very Siemens, we are very Schneider, we are very Rockwell Automation. The world of the industry is locked to brands, and each of those brands require certified engineers. They each have their own languages and protocols. We need to open that to all. So our answer to Elon Musk comes from Luc. Luc, my co-founder. Luc used to work at Tesla, and Vitesse is what he would have loved to have at Tesla. It's a no-code platform. It brings non-intrusive intelligence, and it generates digital twin. It's a full digitization platform. Our ambition is also that in 5 to 10 years from now, people won't say, oh, my factory is very Siemens, we are very Schneider. People will say, we run on Vitesse. So I just mentioned Luc, a little word on the team. Luc Leroy is the one that in 2019 solved the productions issue at Tesla in Fremont, in California, where we are. He also designed the software architecture for Tesla's factory in Shanghai and Berlin. And he ended up his journey at Tesla by leading the automation engineering team. Just to give you an idea, that team was a team of 330 top-notch engineers. And Luc's idea when he left Tesla was to say, I made of Tesla the world reference when it comes to manufacturing, but I had a team of 300 engineers with me. There is no way factories in the world will have hundreds of engineers. I need to create the software platform that will allow any factories to reach the level of excellence at Tesla. One individual on the bottom left is Jérôme Guillen. Jérôme Guillen used to be the president at Tesla. He worked 11 years with Elon Musk, and he came to our office in Silicon Valley. He saw our software and our little manufacturing chain here. And after seeing Vitesse, he immediately decided to invest in the company. So we are very proud of having Jérôme. So a great team with great talents, each experts in their field. The market is huge, manufacturing, automation control in particular, huge market. The global landscape is made out of established brands like Honeywell, GE, Rockwell, but those brands are old. They struggle with modern software practices. In Europe, few brands do hold most of the market. The biggest one is Siemens. The other one is Schneider. We work with those folks. Vitesse is compatible with those platforms. So this is a glimpse on Vitesse, and I would love to give you a demo in a future call and to send you more details. Vitesse is coming with different bricks, analytics, industrial IoT, and the possibility to design and orchestrate manufacturing processes. And you click start and you see the manufacturing hardware moving. Just one number I would love you to remember today from that particular presentation. Companies that would use Vitesse compared to traditional platforms, our customer, they save up to 70% of their automation control cost. That's for the global cost of bringing manufacturing lines to life. And we also cut the coding times by 90%. You don't need to have hundreds of engineers specialized in different brands with Vitesse. So 70% saving on cost. Competition, not really. Vitesse is the world's first in its class. There are new enablers and change enablers. We see them as potential partners. And again, we work with the established companies such as Siemens, Schneider, Bosch. So no real competition per se. The timeline, we started the company end of 2020. We are a team of 24 people now. We have an office in Silicon Valley with a mini factory in our office. And we just opened an office in Europe. We are looking for a $2 million pre-Series A with a discount so that we can do our Series A at the right time. We are to serve a number of customers that we have in the pipe. And we need to come to Series A with a significant commercial traction and revenue. Our projection is to do $1 million this year, 14 million in 2 years, and we will be profitable in 2024. So that's it for me. I don't know if I was on the 6 minute time, but thank you for your attention, and we hope to have you on board to join the manufacturing revolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hugh. We'll let Sarah start with the
Yes.
feedback.
Thank you very much, Ik, for the presentation. It was very well articulated. I think the fact that you start with the why now, the thing that there is a good market timing, it's very good. And actually there is an urgency to have local factory and solve this problem. So the why now, the problem, the vision, and also the fact that you have the right people on board to solve this problem was very clear. But on the other side, and I must be honest, I didn't get exactly what you're doing. What is your product? But I think you create this desire to learn more. So maybe it's you succeed the pitch. But no, regarding the product, I didn't get exactly what you're offering, what are the inside, how you are doing it. Also on the market side, but we didn't have time to go through, but reading it like in the first, like in 1 second, it seems a bit too global and not very like specific to your solution. No, and also where are you in terms of traction today? You mentioned the goal for 2022. Where are you today?
Yeah, so 2022, we are at 250 out of 1 million that we will do. We just received the PO from Tesla yesterday night. And on the product, yeah, 6 minutes was short. Eric Buatois in your team here,
yes,
came to visit us because he was intrigued. And we told Eric that we would do the Series A once we have some numbers to show. I could explain what we do in using an analogy. A factory is an orchestra of musicians that don't speak the same language and that don't read the same type of music. That's the reality today. And Vitesse writes the music that each piece of hardware, robots, conveyors, CNC machines, vision cameras, Vitesse is composing the music that everybody can understand and that everybody can play. We are like the Microsoft Windows for manufacturing above the hardware. It's a middleware.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the reference for the orchestra, Hugh. Can we have Berenice for feedback?
Yeah, thank you. As Sarah said, it was super clear. You're very confident in your pitch, very articulate. So I think that's super important to kind of retain attention and interest. I do agree with Sarah that I didn't really understand what the product was either. I think that you start off with a lot of strong brands and cool names, but I think at the end of the day, it's important to start with like, okay, what's the problem? And you illustrated that very clearly in the sense that we need more local production versus like importing everything. But I think that after that, you really need to dive into like what your product is. And the analogy you just gave was really good and it was super comprehensible. So I would just give that as an analogy to explain it in one slide, and then you can go into the different brands and incredible advisors you have. But yeah, I would be careful to not overinflate too much at the beginning and just really focus on what your offering is. But other than that, yeah, I think it seems like a super interesting and relevant product for what's going on in today's world. So it's very exciting. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Berenice. We'll finish off with Sam, with final feedback.
Yeah, thank you so much for presenting. I know there was a little bit of a time crunch. I thought it was, since the very beginning of the presentation, it definitely grabbed my attention just with the slides and just with the tone and everything. I also did wonder if the problem was that everything needed to be produced locally, but it was very interesting to see the how it works slide placed a little late in the presentation, just because with the traction and customers. I was a little confused on how the two tied hand in hand. I think I would have liked if that slide that was placed a little later, the how it works slide was placed earlier in the presentation, but something else I would wonder is that in terms of defensibility, just because after hearing about all these customers and traction that you built, I think that would be the next thing that someone would wonder. But besides that, I know with a time crunch, I think it was very clear and attention grabbing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. I think I'll take, on behalf of OSS Ventures, I'd like to thank the panelists for taking the time and giving such wonderful feedback, and all the viewers tuning in from the US as well as from Europe. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in, and sorry again for the 15-minute delay. Hopefully next time we can wrap it up in an hour. We'll have our next demo day in about 3 months, next quarter, and we'll also have the replay straight after the event. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful day and evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
You guys. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thanks to all funders and panelists. Thanks again.